Nnamdi Kanu protests court order against his release. Kindly share this video, subscribe, like, and comment below. Mr. Kanu, who is facing terrorism charges, has been in detention since he was repatriated to Nigeria from Kenya in June 2021 under controversial circumstances. By Chinagaram Ugwo, January 18, 2025. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, has offered N1 million to any Nigerian law student who can find any precedent on stay of execution in a criminal proceeding in the country. Mr. Kanu's legal team, led by his special counsel, Aloy Ejimakor, disclosed this during a press conference in Abuja on Thursday. A video clip of the event was uploaded on Mr. Ejimakor's X handle on Friday. Emma Powerful, the IPOB spokesperson, forwarded a text of the press conference to Premium Times. Apart from Mr. Ejimakor, other members of the legal team at the conference were Jude Agwanyi, Nnamdi Kanu, and Mandela Umegboragu. Continued detention. Mr. Kanu, who is facing terrorism charges at the Federal High Court in Abuja, has been in detention since he was repatriated to Nigeria from Kenya in June 2021 under controversial circumstances. The Court of Appeal, Abuja, on October 13, 2022, ruled that Mr. Kanu was extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria in violation of the country's extradition treaty and breach of his fundamental human rights. The court, therefore, struck out the terrorism charges filed against Mr. Kanu by the Nigerian government and ordered his release from the facility of the State Security Service. But the government refused to release the IPOB leader, insisting that he, Kanu, could be unavailable in subsequent court proceedings if released, and that his release would cause insecurity in the southeast, where he comes from. The government, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, later appealed the court ruling and subsequently obtained an order staying the execution of the court judgment at the Supreme Court. Never happened before. Speaking through his legal team, Mr. Kanu argued that the stay of execution of the court judgment freeing him had never been granted before in Nigeria. The IPOB leader consequently offered N1 million to any law student who can provide evidence where a judge stayed the release order of a person acquitted by the court in a criminal proceeding. Nnamdi Kanu pledges to give any law student in any Nigerian university N1 million if such student finds any precedent on stay of execution in criminal proceedings where an acquitted person is by such order restrained from enjoying his freedom. It is an illegality that would haunt Nigeria for as long as life endures. But then, it was granted because Nnamdi Kanu is of Igbo descendants and must suffer, notwithstanding what the law says, Mr. Ejiofor said. The legal team also argued that Mr. Kanu's continued detention was illegal and without any court backing. Continuing, the lawyer said, "It is noteworthy that Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention at the State Security Service is illegal and not predicated on any court order. Recall that Nnamdi was remanded on the purport that Nnamdi jumped bail. By the decision of the Court of Appeal, all the charges for which Nnamdi is being tried were quashed for want of jurisdiction and in violation of the extradition acts of both Kenya and Nigeria." He contended that Justice Tsamani of the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, unlawfully granted the order staying the release of Mr. Kanu. This order was illegally granted, and never in the history of any country's jurisprudence had an acquitted person been denied his release from detention by way of stay of execution, he said. Trial without revoking of his bail unconstitutional. The Supreme Court, while delivering judgment on the appeal by the Nigerian government on December 15, 2023, reversed the acquittal granted to Mr. Kanu by the lower court and consequently ordered continuation of his trial at the Federal High Court Abuja. But the legal team, at the press conference, argued that it is unconstitutional to continue Mr. Kanu's trial without restoring his bail revoked by the Federal High Court. You can imagine what it means for someone to be on an endless trial that never really happens for almost 10 years, Mr. Ejimakor stated. And being detained without conviction for 18 months from 2015 to 2017, and again for over 3.5 years from 2021 to the present day. This alone is a grave injustice of its unique kind, he said. The special counsel also narrated how the IPOB leader was extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria from Kenya and the decisions of both Nigerian and African courts against it. Despite this, Nnamdi Kanu is still detained to this day. That is not right, and it is unconstitutional to boot, he insisted. The legal team also protested against the chief judge of the Federal High Court, who allegedly returned the case file to Justice Binta Nyako to continue handling the trial of Mr. Kanu despite recusing herself from the case. To this, we must go on record to state that both actions of the prosecutor and the chief judge are wrong and liable to fail constitutional muster, Mr. Ejimakor stated. Motsi Nnamdi felt that the only fair way out of this logjam is to seek that his case should be handled by another judge, hence the recusal that is still roiling the system. Share this video, like, comment, and subscribe for more of our videos coming up.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are watching us from. Welcome to this special broadcast. There's a dramatic development regarding Nnamdi Kanu's trial. For those who are just knowing about this, Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra. He has been detained by the Department of State Services, DSS, since 2021. They charge him for terrorism. But now, Nnamdi Kanu has made a bold pledge offering to reward any Nigerian law student who can understand this judicial precedent. That's concerning criminal cases. According to him, what does it mean to stay execution in a case whereby a defendant is acquitted? What is stay of execution? Where has it happened before in Nigeria that anybody that tells him where they have seen such, the person will be rewarded 1 million naira? Of course, you know Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. He made this known through his special counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor, during a press conference. That was last Thursday. He said he will reward 1 million naira to any law student. So law students, you people should gather 1 million naira for any law student to show him an example in Nigerian jurisprudence where a judge granted a stay of execution after an accused person has been acquitted and discharged. You know, there was a controversial decision by appeal court in October 2022 by Justice Haruna Samani of the appeal court. I don't know, they say they have moved into Supreme Court now. He granted a stay of execution. Despite that Nnamdi Kanu has been acquitted from the charges, this particular judge is this same judge that is involved in the P2B election tribunal case. The ones that handed victory to Tinubu. You can imagine what to expect. These are the set of people. I think they have been promoted afterwards, you know. Nigeria, you understand the game. Do I need to be telling you everything? Of course. You know what they will get for that? It is the same judge. I don't know if he has been promoted. As at then, he was in the appeal court. Remember, a 3-judge panel ruled that Kanu's extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria violated international law, declaring the charges against him as unlawful due to the failure of the Nigerian government to follow extradition procedure. Of course, you know that for you to bring somebody from another country, there is a process. Extradition is not the same as kidnap. What happened in the case of Nnamdi Kanu was a kidnap. He was kidnapped from Kenya. Several people colluded and he was kidnapped and brought to Nigeria. That is not extradition process. Some people say they even drugged him, we don't know. But what happened, what we saw happen was kidnap. And on that basis, the three judges acquitted him. But this particular judge that was involved in the case of Peter Obi, the election tribunal, granted a stay of execution. Now, Kanu has turned this to a game. And for me, this is a mess of the Nigerian judiciary. Kanu is forwarding 1 million naira to anyone who can show where something like that has happened before. That is what they call precedents. Show us. Because, you know, in legal matters, you see them refer to state versus so, state versus state versus Okafor in 19 so. Such is being done in judgment. They refer to this is as was in. So we are staying. Why are they staying in execution? Nnamdi Kanu is asking any law student. This is an opportunity for you. Show us where this has happened before. Where somebody that was acquitted after being acquitted. Meanwhile, you know what happened that time? In case you don't know, those 3 judges, they were moved. They were sent far away from Abuja where the judgment was given. The government of the day was not pleased with the judgment they gave. So they moved them away. Now they brought another judge. Instead of following the judgment given by those people, they brought another. Nigeria. So the legal team pointed out that the stay of execution granted by appeal court was unprecedented, as it was the first time in the Nigerian legal history that a person who had been acquitted was denied their release through such an order. They argued that no legal precedent exists for this. That was the first case of such. And the legal team also referenced various court rulings, including a 2023 decision by the High Court of Enugu State, which declared that the actions taken against Kanu were unconditional and violated his fundamental rights. So he's making a caricature of Nigerian judiciary now. Kanu's pledge of 1 million naira is not just a challenge to the law student, but also a call for justice in his case. His legal team insists that Kanu's detention is politically motivated, of course we know. Is driven by his advocacy for Biafran determination, a right that they argued is enshrined in both Nigerian and international human rights agreements. Now, as this legal battle continues to unfold, with questions raised about respect for court orders in Nigeria and the rule of law, Kanu's lawyers are calling for his immediate release. They have cited several judgments that have ruled his detention is unlawful. So, if somebody's detention is unlawful, why are they still keeping him? Why would they still keep him? Nigeria is in a mess. Yes, Nigeria is in a serious mess. So, law students, you people should warm up, warm up, warm up. This is a great opportunity. I know a lot of these law students need money, maybe to complete their studies. So, this is up for grab. 1 million naira by Nnamdi Kanu and his team. Show us where it has happened before. This is the first of its kind. Show us where it has happened before. This is where we draw a curtain on this one. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. Share this video.
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Okason TV show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to keep the intellect flowing.